Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Sit Down with Sid Podcast. This is season number two, episode number two. Today we have two wonderful guests, Robin Bennett and Susan Briggs, with us. Uh, Robin is a certified professional dog trainer, an author, a speaker, and expert on dogs. She founded one of the largest dog training companies in Virginia, and for the last 30 years has been using her expertise in breeding dogs to teach families how to train their pets as well as helping others in the pet care industry, keeping dogs safe. On the other hand, Susan Briggs is a certified professional animal care operator, an author, a speaker, and a pet care business expert. As co founder of the Dog Gurus, she brings over 18 years of experience in the pet industry with 12 years as a co owner and operator of a successful dog daycare, lodging, grooming, and training business in Houston, Texas. That being said, it is an honor and pleasure for me to welcome you both.
Thanks for having us. We're happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Great. So why don't we, for the audience, if you don't mind giving us a little bit about your background. I know, Susan, you come from a mortgage background, whereas Robin is ex-colonel in Marine, which is great. So why don't you guys take it from here and give us a brief and our audience brief intro about yourself, background.
Sure. Well, I can kind of kick that off. And I am a former Marine. So I was in the Marine Corps for about 9 years initially when I decided I would go to dog training school and just decided to do that as a hobby. And when I came back from dog training school, I just took leave and went on that. I was still in the Marine Corps, came back from dog training school and realized people would actually pay me for that. So had a decision to make to try to run my own company and become a dog trainer or stay in the Marine Corps. And I chose to do both. So I joined the reserves and ended up retiring from the Marine Corps, but part of that was in the reserves, and then started my own dog training company. And at the time I was in Virginia. So I grew that to be one of the largest facilities in Virginia. I had a team of trainers that worked with me over time as I built my company. Well, during that time that I had my dog training business, I decided I would start a dog daycare. And at this time, it's hard to remember the times when dog daycares were not very popular. They were not well known. Dog parks didn't exist. Like that whole atmosphere of taking your dog to play with other dogs was something new at the time, which is hard to think of now because they're so popular now. But I started that daycare and started running a successful daycare, and which grew very, very rapidly. And I started getting people asking me how to do it. So I ended up putting together my thoughts on opening a daycare, which did become a book called All About Dog Daycare, and started speaking at conferences. That's actually how I met Susan, and ultimately what led us to working together in what we do now, which is the Dog Gurus. But I'll kind of kick it over to Susan and let her pick up kind of her background and story to how we got to where we are now.
Yeah, my background did start in corporate America, and I was in mortgage banking, and the company I worked for got acquired, which was actually the second acquisition I had in a span of about 10 years. So I decided that I would really prefer to kind of control my own destiny, and that's when I went into entrepreneurship and opened a pet resort with partners in Houston, Texas. And this was at the time when the industry was kind of shifting from the mom and pop kennels to what we now know as pet resorts that did include dog daycare. So like Robin was one of the early pioneers, like the actual third pet resort in the Houston area to offer the daycare services. And so with that, you're educating pet parents on why they would want to even bring their dog to dog daycare, which is hard to believe sitting where we are today. But it also, there wasn't standards for the industry, and training for staff was really non-existent in that specific service area. So Robin and I worked together with the trade association and other volunteers from the industry to set the first standards related to operating daycares, best practices. And then we did write another book together, which is Off Leash Dog Play, which was a tool to train staff to read canine body language and keep dogs safe when they're leading their play groups.
That's wonderful. And then together, as you mentioned, you co-founded the Dog Gurus. What year was that? What year did you came up with this idea of let's launch this project, the Dog Gurus? and give us and our audience a little bit like of a background on this business venture.
Well, I'll kind of kick that off and then I'm going to send it to Susan for the date. But we initially had the Dog Gurus as a joint venture. So Susan had her company, I had my company, and the book that Susan just mentioned, Off Leash Dog Play, we co-authored that as a joint venture and we're speaking about that. We would go to conferences and speak together as well. But again, independent entities with the Dog Gurus as just a joint venture. And that book ended up becoming a well-known training program called Knowing Dogs, which is really our foundation product, because people wanted the staff training, but then they kept saying this book should be made into videos and little exams for our staff, and without realizing how hard that would be, we decided we would do that. Like in hindsight, it's probably a good thing we didn't know how hard it would be, or we probably never would have gotten through the whole process to create the program. But again, that was still being done as a joint venture. So we just were working on the side together, never have lived in the same state, which is kind of ironic. So we were doing everything virtually. We would meet a couple of times a year to work on the project and did everything else virtually. So that became basically a joint venture between the two of us. Well, I guess it was in 2018. Is that right, Susan? That we merging.
Yeah, we started it in 2013. So we're upcoming 10 years next July. But in 2018, we did formalize things into the company and merged all of our IP together and created what is today the Dog Gurus program and service offerings.
That's wonderful. So it is very much like a franchise, like you guys give an opportunity to business owners to open a dog daycare under the brand name Dog Gurus, if I understand correctly.
Right. Yeah. The Dog Gurus actually helps pet care businesses launch, grow, and profit. So we work with pet lovers who just want to get into the industry and start their own daycare boarding facility or pet service facility. So we have a program for those people. And then for businesses that already exist, our passion is really helping those small business owners grow their business, be successful, and not get burnt out. Susan and I both understand how hard it is to run a pet care business because we both had our own pet care businesses. We know the challenges of dealing with those live animals on a day-to-day basis can burn you out. And a lot of times we in the industry, we love the pets so much that we tend to discount our services. And so a lot of pet business owners aren't making the money they really need to make to not burn out and to be able to hire a team, to give them more time off. So the Dog Gurus is really designed to help those pet care business owners have a profitable business that's not, allowing them to take vacations and make money and that kind of thing. So we help those businesses to grow and ultimately exit on their own terms.
Great. So I know you keep repeating the word profitable business. Let me ask you now, if I, as a business owner or a pet owner, wants to come to you and I listen to you, how much do you guys take accountability when you guys use the word profitability? Or is that like in a disclaimer, it depends on each individual and their business needs and goals?
Yeah, it's definitely depends on the service mix and capacity of the business. But there are kind of industry standards that we know for exiting that businesses want to see, like a 20% profit in a business that they want to acquire. And so we really kind of set that as a benchmark, but then customize it to each business based on its size and its service mix offerings.
Perfect. Now, do you have, so tell us, how many franchises do you have? Roughly how many states are you guys operating in under the brand entity, the Dog Gurus in the United States?
We work primarily with independent businesses. We do have a few franchises that are taking and using some of our programs, but in terms of individual businesses, we have well over 500 that are using some parts of our programs or services. We're pretty much throughout the United States. We're also in a lot of English speaking countries. All of our products and services are in English. So New Zealand, Australia, Canada, the UK, those kinds of English speaking countries, we're in those areas as well.
That's amazing. And when you say once these products and services are used in an international forefront, does that involve a lot of, what's the right word I can use? kind of liability, and each country has its own documentation required. How do you guys deal with all of that, implications, if there is any?
Well, all of our products are digital access, so
Hmm.
there's not a lot of liability in that sense. We have insurance obviously for our products, but most of it is just they're buying an online program and they access it through our learning and management system. With their coaching program, we might do Zoom calls and that kind of thing, but the liability I feel like is fairly low. I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that, Susan.
No, I would agree that it's just kind of normal operations, based on, a US company selling things, and then how they implement it is kind of on them. We provide, the training to give them the knowledge and skills, but it is up to them to implement through their staff and setting the same standards or higher than what we recommend.
Great. So I have a question. Here in New York City, we have a lot of dog daycares as well. So my question is, what separates you guys, the dog gurus, from the rest of the pack in this industry?
That's a great question. Yeah, I'll start with that. We definitely focus on care quality first, and we know that to have high quality care means you do have to invest in training your team to read that canine body language, to know how to lead play groups without force or coercion. The other thing is we really do focus on the business as a team, and so it takes everybody together. And so we also focus on the soft skills and providing training for that, to be a great team member and also provide great customer support and service. So I think what we've done is really set the standard for the industry, that we find the people that really want to do it, their business right, as far by the pets and their clients, are the ones that work with us.
That's
yeah,
great.
we have our team of coaches that help with some of the programs and services that we offer. All of them have, and this is by intention, we only hire coaches that have owned or currently own their own pet care facility, so they truly understand that business owner mindset because they've been there. And our staff training programs are the only programs that are certified by 3 different independent agencies. So CCPDT for trainers has certified our programs. PAC, which is for the pet care professional, has certified them. And then RACE, which is for the veterinarian professional, has certified them as well.
That's great. So in I know pet industry is one of the highly competitive industry, and I'm a big fan of Shark Tank, and I have seen a lot of pet people come there. And one of the questions that the judges, they ask them is like, how do you keep up with this fast revolution of the pet industry in terms of products and services? So I'm going to ask you the same question to both of you. As things are evolving at such a rapid pace, how do you guys keep up with this, all of this through your business venture?
Well, I guess I'll start, and then Susan, if you have anything else. I feel like because we have 500 plus business owners actually using our services, and we have people in our programs that are in our coaching program, we have a strong network of people that are really at the forefront of all of this. So I feel like it's easy for Susan and me to stay in the forefront as well. We also have strong relationships with the trade associations in this industry, vendors in this industry. So I feel like, generally speaking, we know what's in the trends before it's really well known in the industry itself. So I feel like we stay ahead that way. And then all our programs, our services are all built to be scalable. So we can easily scale to meet any kind of demand. And we can also, because we're a small business ourselves, we can pivot and change our strategies really quickly. And I guess a great example of that is when COVID happened, and obviously the pet industry was hit hard, especially the daycare boarding industry, because everybody had to shut down and nobody was traveling. And we were very quickly easy to pivot. Within 3 weeks, we had a virtual event being held to help people through COVID, and started weekly Facebook lives to help people through COVID as well.
Right. And I think one thing is we do stay in touch with what the leaders in the industry are doing. So like 5 to 6 years ago, Robin and I took information that one of our members was doing as far as shifting her daycare to more of an enrichment model of daycare. We really embraced that, did the research and took it to the next level and created a program to advise other businesses how to do that. And so it's a real growing trend in the industry. It's so not only do we monitor trends in the pet industry, we moderate trends that are happening in society, because the pet industry tends to follow that. I mean, it's like, you know, it went from kennels to resorts, and it went from groom shops to spa services. And so the things we see going on with general society will come to the pet industry. And so we can stay ahead by thinking, okay, this is happening in society. How does that translate to what we need to do with the pets, which is that individualized custom experience for both the pet and the client.
Well, that's a great answer by both of you guys. Now, so I know, Robin, you mentioned you guys work with almost 500 business owners. Now, what is the goal for the Dog Gurus for 2023? And how do you think you can differentiate yourself in 2023 versus 2022 to accomplish that?
I think our goal continues to be to reach as many of these pet care businesses that are out there. We have barely scratched the surface of pet care businesses that are starting to open now, that have grown since COVID, and that are already in existence in terms of needing that help. I think our biggest focus right now is the staffing shortages that exist due to COVID, just the change in the work environment and people trying to hire new employees for their business has been a big focus of ours for the last several months. And I think will continue to be in 2023, making sure that the focus on really hiring and retaining quality staff and onboarding them properly is a continued focus. And I think that's one of our biggest things. And one of our programs called Pet Guru College actually helps that. So I think we will continue to really focus on how these businesses can build their teams into the dream team they want.
I want to touch base on another concept that you guys came out with, roughly speaking. What is the roughly speaking business model based on? And how is that different from the Dog Gurus, or is that something that coalesces together? Give us a little bit info on that, please.
Do you want to start with that, Susan?
Yeah, roughly speaking is powered by the Dog Gurus. So it's taking content that we've been teaching pet professionals for 20 years or more, that reformatting it and designing it for the actual pet parent, so that we're going direct to the pet parent to help them build a better relationship with their dog, understand their dog better, and then also be able to recognize those quality care professionals that they need to help them, care for their pet in today's industry. So it's the first time that the Dog Gurus is going direct business to consumer. All of our other programs have been set up for B2B.
And the business model is, it is a membership site. So that is in line with how we started the Dog Gurus and we'll continue to have membership sites for the Dog Gurus. And the difference being that it's for the pet parent instead of the pet businesses. But we do think that the fear-free and positive training focus that we have on pet professionals working with dogs is important for pet parents to build a strong relationship with their pets as well. So we really want to help pet parents understand how to read their dog, how to understand their dog, and how to just have a great relationship with their dog. So we want to reach out with that monthly membership model for them to get access to content as well.
And is this something these pet owners, the consumers, can also find in your book that you published? I think you have 2 books that you guys published: Off Leash Dog Play, A Complete Guide to Safety and Fun, and also the Dog Daycare, which I'm assuming is more catered towards B2B.
Yeah, All About Dog Daycare is definitely more focused on if you want to open your own business. Off-leash dog play is all about canine body language and understanding canine body language. So that book is helpful to both pet parents as well as the business owner, anybody really that wants to learn more about their pet. And a lot of that content when we wrote the book, what we heard from pet care professionals was we want videos and we want more explanations and we want little more detail. And that's what we are assuming pet parents will want as well. So giving that a visual component, but we do talk a lot in Roughly Speaking. One of our goals really is to help parents understand their dogs better by being able to read their dog's language. There's miscommunications that happen all the time just because somebody doesn't understand some of the signals the dogs are giving when they're in an uncomfortable situation. So helping pet parents to understand that will really help them be a better advocate for their dog.
That is great. And then Robin and Susan, if the business owners and consumers want to reach out to both of you, what is the best way for them to reach out to both of you in terms of collaboration?
They can reach us at our website, thedoggurus.com. There's a contact us page, or our individual emails, robin@thedoggurus.com or susan@thedoggurus.com.
Great. And then also what we are going to do is we are going to include your websites as well as your social media information along with the links to the Amazon and your bookstore, so people can actually check out your information and have an option to buy in the description of this video below. So Robin and Susan, I mean, this was what I really wanted to get into. If there is something that I missed, please feel free to take the mic from here.
No, I think we're happy to talk to anyone that's interested in starting a business, or any pet parents that want to learn more about their dogs can definitely find us over at roughlySpeakingDog.com. But we're happy to talk to anybody. We love talking about dogs. I don't know, Susan, if you have any last comments.
No, we definitely, if you are interested in anything that you've learned in this podcast, reach out. We love talking to people and promoting and expanding this industry. You work hard, but it is very rewarding helping pets and their families.
That's great. Well, Robin and Susan, I really want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy day to be with us here. And from our end, we want to wish you all the very best in your future endeavors as well.
Thanks so much for having us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. You both have a great day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. Bye.